and the wards that they represent. So as chair, I'll go first. My name is Councillor Asim, and I represent the Feltham West Ward. I'm going to start by handing it over to my vice chair.
I'm Councillor Adesh Parmahan from Bedfont Ward.
I'm Councillor Alan Mitchell from Feltham West Ward. Yes. Okay.
I'm Councillor Kuldeep Tag from Feltham North.
Hi, good evening everyone. I'm Councillor Samina Nagra from Feltham North Ward.
Hi, I'm Councillor Muhammad Shakil Akram from Feltham North Ward.
Councillor Raghuvinder Sidhu from Bedfont.
Councillor Hinamir, Feltham West.
Sorry, I'm Jyoti Patel. I'm the clerk for the Bedfont and Feltham Area Forum. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is apologies for absence, declarations of interest, and other communication from members. Do we have any apologies for absence?
Councillor Lilibart for absence.
Thank you. Do you want to note that, Jyoti? Any more absences? No? Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is announcements. So I will be handing over first to Councillor Sidhu to make his announcement. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I want to make an announcement regarding the Lime bike. Area 3 of the bike scheme is currently underway, which will be considered data from the Lime bike and feedback from the residents. This will be shared with the ward members for the comments in coming weeks after that's complete. While it is recognized that scheme isn't perfect throughout the borough, somewhere it's running really well and somewhere we are having some problems. But as a local authority, we have very minimum legislation powers to control e-bikes operations. They can operate anywhere, but we are working with Lime Bike with memorandum of understandings that they work with us. So they have provided us the data, and the council is working on that data on using our own internal stakeholders. So the council are in support of recent TFL announcements in relation to operation of Red Route TFL lands, and we can monitor more closely after this legislation. Officers are also working with the police and Lime to address the issues in Feltham Town Centre. The council's agreement with Lime sets out the operator response times, dedicating how quickly the operator is expected to respond to the issues. They should respond within 24 hours once the Lime bike is reported, and within 2 hours if they are obstructing. If they are obstructing and if they are dangerous to the public. So there are some issues about this data, but council is monitoring that.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sidhu. I believe Councillor Mitchell has an additional comment.
On the issue of Lime bikes, obviously we've all received a lot of complaints about the significant minority of people who are misusing them, a lot of young people. I've also been requested by our Safer Neighbourhoods team, the police, to see if we can have a review of Lime bikes, as Councillor Sidhu was alluding to there, and I have written to the lead member, the cabinet member for transport and the environment, and we will, I believe, early in the new year be discussing this precisely for the reasons how it's affecting us here in Feltham and Bedfont. Okay, so that is in hand. I just wanted to add that to what Raghuvinder was saying. Cheers, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mitchell. Councillor Tuck, do you want to come in with the announcement? This is for the announcements. I've got winter fuel?
That's section plan updates. These are the announcements.
Okay, Councillor Farmahan in that case then.
Good evening. My announcement is regarding winter fuel update. Yeah, some will lose the winter fuel payment due to the changes made to this benefit. So we are encouraging residents to check their eligibility for pension credit. Hounslow Warm Spaces initiative is continuing for the third time this winter. Warm spaces are places in the borough where residents can spend time at this winter to escape the cold, socialize, access sport, and participate in activities. The list of the warm spaces available this year can be found here, and this list will be continually updated as and when more spaces become available. Please also take some of the pension credit flyers as you leave, which have more information on the benefits and supports available. If you require a further conversation about this, please speak with the member of the community development team on leaving, who can provide you with community solution team contact for one-to-one support conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Farmahan. And as he mentioned in his statement there, any residents who feel that they may qualify, please do either speak to one of us or there are some flyers around that you can just pick up with more information on them. Thank you. Are there any other announcements from members? No? Thank you. In that case, we move on to the next item on the agenda, which is minutes held on the 2nd of September and matters arising from those minutes. So I will ask members to please go through the minutes. Just for clarity, I will be going through them page by page. They might be numbered slightly different on your agenda pack. So the first page, are there any minutes arising from the minutes? No? 2 and 3? Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Minutes agreed? Thank you. Okay. Right, now this part of the agenda is the open forum, and this is the opportunity for residents... they said there weren't any. Oh, the update, sorry. Yes. Okay, sorry, my apologies. I went a little ahead of myself there. So members will now be giving updates and matters arising from those minutes. Yeah. I'll be handing over to Jyoti, who's going to...
Right, so these are matters arising from agenda item 7, the open forum, questions that were asked. There was a question asked about antisocial behaviour and in Feltham by Ms Perez, and Councillor Sidhu has an update on that. If you'd like to give the update, Councillor Sidhu.
Thank you, Chair. There was an antisocial behaviour incident near Southwell Road. The brand new flats built, and there's an ongoing problem with of antisocial behaviour, and police has now spoken to the freeholder management company and our community neighbourhood safety team, and the matter is now resolved, and there is quite a good result by the police and the community neighbourhood team.
Okay. Then there was a question from Claire from Friends from Hatton Fields about the consultation on the area local plan that had recently been published. And the response there is that the public consultation, which was called Regulation 19, on the proposed submission version of the local plan, took place between the 6th of September and Monday 28th of October. Notification of the consultation went out through all the usual channels. Planning held 2 public workshops during the consultation period, which we advertised online. There was one at Hounslow House on Monday 7th of October and one at Brentford Digital Dock on Wednesday 9th of October. They say we are now engaged in processing all the responses received and doing any additional work required before we submit the draft local plan and supporting documentation to the Secretary of State for examination. all residents and community groups who submitted representation will have the right to participate at the examination hearings, and we will keep respondents updated through the process. And then there's regarding the question regarding the allotments, it is residents who would like to raise concerns around this matter can do this with community safety outside of the public forum. Then issues raised by Carol on parking issues around the estates. I think that's okay. Yeah, Councillor Mitchell has a response to that.
Yes, it's an ongoing thing. I spoke to Carol earlier, and residents on the Waterloo estate are concerned. Concerns about parking issues, the types of cars and lorries and vans, some which may contravene housing policy. But on the Waterloo estate, some of the roads or some of the carriageways are maintained by Hounslow Highways and some by housing. It's an ongoing, well, it's gone on for longer than 10 years. Some may remember Councillor John Cooper, who first tried to untangle this mystery. Well, we're still working on it. Because it needs to be untangled, not least because, as Carol and residents have pointed out, we now have the Frank Tell Court development, which has come online, which means there'll be extra pressure on those roads on the estate. And with that in mind, we are pushing forward with the CPZ consultation, the second one. The first one was in 2015, and we hope to cover as many of these issues with that CPZ discussion with the residents as we can, because we need a long-term solution, because it's a long time coming. So I will have those discussions. We will, as Feltham West members, with housing and Hounslow Highways. I have a second announcement. Eden came to the last area forum, which was at Bedfont Lane Community Hall, and she commented on the antisocial behaviour and rough sleepers around the Western Homes estate on Manor Lane. Some of you may know at the top of Manor Lane, it's called Reeve Street. And she was talking about antisocial behaviour, rough sleeping, people breaking into the complex there, kicking indoors in some cases. And I've had communication with the area manager who's looking after the development, who tells me that they're Rose Tree, they're known as Rose Tree, they are the managing agent for the Western Homes development at the back of Tesco's in the High Street. You know where this is, yeah? So the rough sleepers, etc., they had been kicking in the madlocks, which are outside the gates to the car park, you know, where you would swipe to make the gates open and you can drive through. The gates, because they're kicking them, they're tricked into safety mode, so they open automatically, allowing people to get in and then gain access via rear doors. There have been 7 instances since February this year, which isn't good enough. And as a possible solution, there was a residents' meeting last night with Rose Tree and the residents of the Western Homes development, where they've asked for CCTV, and that's currently being costed, and to move the readers inside, actually inside the gates, so that it would actually be activated by a fob and not by you physically swiping it to open the gates to then drive your vehicle in. So that is something that we're looking at closely. Rose Tree took over the development from another managing agent and inherited £30,000 worth of unpaid service charges, which they are struggling to retrieve. And as a result of this, some of the repairs down there on the development have been slow in coming forward. But they do a full inspection visit every 10 days, and they tell us that residents and neighbours are welcome to contact the team at Rose Tree if they have any concerns about that development, whether they live there or they live close to there, and I have the contact details if anyone's interested to come and see me afterwards. Shall I do the High Street as well? Do the High Street? Yeah? Okay. We've also had some interest. Sorry, this is not like the late news bulletin. There is someone else coming in a minute. Don't worry, it's not just me. People have been asking about the traffic lights by McDonald's and the work that's going on there, which is causing a lot of problems with the traffic at peak periods. I'm sure we're all aware. Okay, so what's going on there? The works going on there were left over from phase 1 of the Feltham Town Centre Improvement Plan, the regeneration, because at the time, in 2019, the council were unable to buy the land in question from McDonald's, but they now have, they've secured that. Basically, the retaining wall will be moved closer to McDonald's so the carriageway can be widened opposite McDonald's to allow for a short extension of the cycle lane, which currently just disappears outside McDonald's, which is crazy. This will not impact the carriageway on the bridge, and the carriageway before the bridge and before that station entrance will be a little bit wider, so that's good. And I can report that today, SSE, the Electricity Board, were moving their effects to facilitate these works. Next Tuesday, 3rd December, Virgin will be doing the same, and in the afternoon, LBH, Hounslow Highways, will begin to reinstate the footway. And by Friday the 6th, i.e. next Friday, the traffic lights will be removed. So everything will be back to normal for Christmas. But the final parts of the works to put a curb in place at the same location will commence January the 6th for what should be no longer than 2 to 3 weeks. And then that project will be completed. Again, if anyone wants to know any more, do see me. That's it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mitchell. Are there any further matters arising from members?
Quite a few, yeah. Okay, so Carol also asked a question about the overgrown weeds on the estate, and Councillor Meir has a response to that.
Yeah, so last time Tim Hurley from Hounslow Highways explained that the weeds on the estate were for housing to deal with. He was responsible for weed killing on adopted highways in Hounslow. The problem was getting resolved a lot slower than usual since eliminating use of chemicals. There were many more people and teams on the ground dealing with weed killing. It could be reported online. There was also a priority list of roads to be dealt with online. Others would be dealt with reactively as reported. So at the moment, housing and state improvement stated weeds have been raised with colleagues in Lambton for removal. If residents still have any concerns in the area to weeds greening on their estates, please raise this with your housing officer or community development officer before leaving, or add to forum feedback. Thank you.
Okay. There was a question about the rat infestation around Bedfont Library, which Councillor Sidhu was going to look into, and he has a response to that.
Yes,
yeah.
I have a response. In Bedfont, near the library, there's lots of open spaces, and we have that problem. So Lambton and Pest Control, Waste and Recycling team did investigate, and they did put some poison around there, and they keep on monitoring the situation. Regarding the alleyways, there was an adopted alleyways, few of them, but now the owners of those properties are asked to look after the alleyways, because they are used by multiple residents of few roads. But like, we are trying to ask the housing and Lambton to adopt a couple of alleyways. We are working with them, so that will be updated in next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, then there was Barbara's question about fly tipping and graffiti around the pits and Westmacott Drive, of which Councillor Sidhu at the time reminded residents that fly tipping could be reported to Hounslow Highways. So if Councillor Sidhu would like to provide an update on that one, you visited the...
Yes,
yeah.
that was, I think, the Feltham West councillors had a ward walk, yeah. And that issues was taken up, and full update, but in the ward walk will, I think you, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then there was a thank you to Councillor Mitchell from Mary and Daniel. Mr Goomes was very concerned about speeding cars and bikes along Southfield Road. He feared for his children and there might be a serious accident. And there Councillor Sidhu was going to talk to Mr Goomes afterwards, and there's an update from the police on that, Councillor Sidhu?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, thank you. The police did carry out some speed checks with the help of local residents on Staines Road and a couple of other locations, and they are monitoring the situation, and if need arises, the traffic is working on that.
Okay. Right, Tony from Rochester Avenue Estates was about the different speed zones in quick succession along Rochester Avenue, and there's been a response to that. Councillor Mayor.
Yeah. So police are undertaking speed checks in various Feltham West and Bedfont areas. This has been raised with the police, and we can request a speed check should there be sufficient reports from residents. A reminder of the different ways to formally report issues is on the community safety table, and also the residents can ask if they like a paper copy to take tonight. Thank you.
Okay. And then there was George was also concerned about the changing speed limits in quick succession between Chubb Fire and Assembly Halls, and there's an update on that. Traffic will clarifying with the resident the exact locations reported, and this will be raised again with TfL and relevant road owners and police for the relevant wards. And that's that. Then for agenda item 6, traffic consultation information, we had some responses from Robert Heslop on some of the questions he took away. Regarding the H21, a request for the H21 to run to Feltham Station and to serve Southfield Road. He said that we've raised a possible extension to Feltham Station with TfL. The bus route currently serves the residential area of Westbicott Drive. So if the route were to be amended to serve Southfield Road, it would more than likely have to be rerouted away from its existing route. There are pedestrian routes from Southfield Road between Westbicott Drive, which provides access to this bus route, but we will ask TfL to ensure the route continues to be monitored. There's a question about general improvements to the bus network, and his response was, we are going to be developing a public transport action plan for the borough next year, and want to hear all views on what the bus network should look like so we can use as a basis for discussion with TfL. We are currently consulting on the updated transport strategy, so would encourage people to respond to this or attend events to make their views known if they can. In response to the question about making Hatton Cross Station step-free, he says that making Hatton Cross Station step-free has been identified as a priority for us in a meeting with TfL, and we will continue to discuss this with them. The station is actually in the London Borough of Hillingdon, but serves as an interchange for our residents, so we will ensure it remains as a priority. And the review of the wording in the strategy document, they will have a look at that. There was Councillor Sidhu has already updated on Lime bikes, and there was about the town centre car park approaching Aviva and having a discussion with them. He's still following up on that. We don't have an actual response to that one yet. Thank you. There we are.
Thank you very much, Jyoti, and thank you, members. Any further before I move on? No? Okay, now we move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the open forum. This is basically an opportunity for residents to raise issues of local concern. It is, however, not to put forward personal casework. We advise you to speak to your local councillors with regards to anything that's personal. We can't, unfortunately, use this platform to address that. I'm not going to be strict about one question per person. It's your forum. As long as we maintain the time, I'm happy to take more than one question, as long as we give everybody a fair chance. So that being said, all questions need to obviously come through the chair, but I'd like to open the floor for questions. Yeah, Can we please provide, and with the mic, thank you. And Jyoti, if you can please make note of any queries from the residents, thank you. Can you please start by saying your name nice and loud?
Yes, my name is Anne Hasty. I'm at New Chapel Square in Feltham. I'm told I live in Hanworth. However, I wanted to ask Alan, what is happening about this scaffolding in front of Asda's? They seem to have stopped work. And those panels which were being removed, I understand, were in the line with fireproof panels, apart from the ones that kept flying off the roof.
Thank you very much. Alan?
As far as I'm aware, Camellia House is split, I believe, into two different management companies. A2 Dominion is one, and then there's First Port Management, or I think they may have handed over to someone else recently. So the scaffolding is up there, I believe, during the high winds recently, not this weekend, there were slates coming off the roof. It's not the first time it's happened. So part of the remedial works was for that. I know there is beginning work on the cladding there, but I think whilst we had high winds and everything like that, if it's not spot on with the health and safety, then they won't go up there. But that is something, you're absolutely right, Anne, that's something that Town Centre Management, Samantha Bond-Arnold, myself, First Port and A2 Dominion need to chase, because we need a timeline. A lot of residents are struggling to sell their leasehold properties, or at least even put them on the market, because they don't know where they stand in regard to when and if the full remediation will be done. So it's a very good point, and we've noted this, and we will follow it up. But the answer is, it's two things why the scaffolding is there, and let's find out the exact reason why it's still there and works have stalled. I think it's partly the weather, but something else.
Well, we had the walkthrough by the developers before they built Asda. I asked the developer, or one of them, if they could do anything about the Windy City syndrome. And his reply was so laughable. He said, if we put balconies on the yellow building, which was an office building, above Costa, shall we say, it will stop the wind. And I belong to that small group who used to try and get things going in the town. They've all died except me. And they just laughed in his face. He wanted to pat me on the shoulder and say, don't you worry, miss. And I said, I'm not worried, I've asked you a question. And 3 of the guys were retired civil engineers, so they knew what they were talking about. Well, of course, we've got the Windy City syndrome and the flying slates ever since it was built.
It existed before, and it exists again now since the development in 2006.
Well, it made a difference to our street, I want to tell you. Victoria Road is now draftier.
There you are, yeah. Again, John Cooper raised this years ago, didn't he, when he was a Feltham member. And that's one of the things that goes down in history. Was the architectural design done with that in mind, or was it done to facilitate the need for a health centre, a library, and retail units, you know? And at what point do you say, okay, you're creating a sort of L shape and a potential wind tunnel there? I'm afraid, and history will record that that's what happened again, and we just have to do our best. But again, you're absolutely right. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Can we please ensure that we have noted that so we can give a response? Anybody else who's next? Don't be shy. Yep.
Hi, my name's Fazana. I'm a resident of Bedfont, and I just want to say there's been ongoing roadworks in Feltham, affecting Feltham Town Centre for a very long time. We see dates, and often those deadlines aren't met. And we're just wondering, you know, can any more thinking be done with regards to the timing? I've driven 50 minutes to get from Bedfont to here this evening. You know, we generally have big traffic arteries anyway. But, can nothing be done to kind of manage how and when this is done so it doesn't disrupt things?
Thank you very much, Farzana. Do we have anybody from traffic who can answer that question? No? In that case, what we'll do is we've noted it down and we'll provide a written response. Thank you. Who's next? Yep. At the back.
Hello and good evening. My name is Alex and I'm from the Burberry House Residents Association, and also I'm a supporter and campaigner of the Feltham Town Council. I have two questions, if I may. Is it possible?
Yeah.
First of all, I wanted to ask, in regards to the review of the Lime bikes, if there is a date for that review. And then the second question is in regards to the Feltham Town Council and the proposal that us, the supporter, or the people who are part of the steering group for this big project. If you, members of the council, had the opportunity to review the project, and what is your view for the future and how we can collaborate together. And for those who don't know, the Feltham Town Council project is created by the people, for the people, and we hope to put in place the lower tier of the local government. So, thank you. I'm not sure if I explained it well.
Yes, I can.
Councillor Sidhu.
Yes, regarding the Lime bike, I already gave an answer. That like.
Oh, sorry. Then I didn't quite catch it. Is there a date for the review of?
It's going on at the moment. The review is going on at the moment. So because it started with Chiswick and Science, that part of the borough, and moving on this side. So hopefully we should get an update by end of this month. And regarding the Feltham Town Council, that this forum is not suitable to answer that, because we are like elected councillors from Feltham, Bedfont, Hanworth. So we are also people's representatives. So if somebody wants to have another constitutional body, so they are welcome to do that. But like as a councillor, we are limited to comment on that. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Actually, no, it was a proposition that has gone to the head of the council, and I was wondering, and you also been informed, and we were invited. I was wondering if you had the time to form an opinion, and if you had the time to actually discuss it together, because as you can see, I think the people and the council, it's time they start to work together, because this is empty, people are not responding. The motivation is very low, the trust is very low, and I do believe it's time we work together.
Can I come in?
And this is an invitation to actually come along at the next meeting, if you like.
Thank you for your question.
You're most welcome. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
I would just like to reiterate that as councillors, we do endeavour to work together with our residents. It's one of the reasons, why we're here. But to add a little bit more, I would like to pass over to Councillor Tack. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. As I believe the proposal you've already put in front of leader of the council, and it's already under discussion between your group and the council. This forum is not an appropriate place to discuss about that, because it is a matter of full council and the officers, and we do not represent the entire council, we represent the area. So we'll be specifically talking about the issues which concerns the residents and the council directly. What you are talking about is proposing an entire legal body altogether, which we don't have capacity to either approve or disapprove of.
Because it's a very positive thing. sorry, I was wondering if there was an opportunity to get your personal opinion and to see whether we can work together in the future towards a very positive movement, actually. Thank you.
Thank you. As it's already with the leader, we're not really in a position to be commenting at this stage, but if we do receive any further updates, that will be communicated to you. Can I just ask Councillor Mitchell to come in, please?
Obviously on this, there's potential for conflict around two bodies, and we can't legally comment on that. The Labour Party, now in national government, is 100% behind further devolution to councils and local authorities, which is something I believe the leader's already written to the Prime Minister about this, and the Secretary of State for Local Government. So that is something we believe in, devolution as close to the people as possible. But on the wider measure, what my colleagues have said is correct, because it's a legal thing and a potential conflict, so we can't really comment and give opinion tonight. But that's what we are. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mitchell, and thank you very much, Alex. Just in the interest of time, I'd like to move on to the next question, please. Yep.
Hi, Russell from Bedfont. So I want to talk about cycling if I can. So it's part of line bikes, but it's more than that. With the dark evenings and all this kind of stuff, and a lot more people are cycling on the pavements. And I can see why they might want to do that, because traffic is, quite busy, especially down the Hatton Road, down the Staines Road. Maybe that's somewhere you could certainly test the speed of some of the drivers. So I understand why people are doing it, but unfortunately getting too used to it, I think. And with very small pavements, it's very difficult now. You're always looking behind you, people are coming up behind you, and obviously there's been some phones stolen recently in Bedfont as well. So it's really difficult. Now you're obviously trying to do your transport initiative to try and get more people out of cars and all that kind of stuff. And you are encouraging people to cycle, which I think is obviously very good. And you're building cycle paths and tracks and things like that. But people have to cycle to the cycle track before they become a cycle track. And it's that bit that concerns a lot of people, I think, because as I say, it's very dark in the evenings and bikes are coming up. So apart from now and again maybe sending people out there to look at what's happening, perhaps when you're selling the idea of cycling, you should sell the whole package about how people should be cycling responsibly. Maybe having bells on their bikes so at least they can let people know what's going on. Because it's getting more and more serious, I think, in Bedfont, especially for older people. They can't turn around quick enough to get out of the way. Most cyclists, I think, are okay. It's probably just a few people that get carried away. And as I've said, the traffic is quite busy, so that's probably why they're on the pavement, because they're scared of the traffic. So I don't expect you to come up with a solution, but I think maybe a little bit more emphasis on how people should be cycling and what the council can do about that, I think will go down well. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Russell. You've made some very valid points. Councillor Mitchell, do you want to add?
Yeah. Russell, you've asked the question and you've also answered it, in my opinion. It's quite an excellent, and as Neil Kinnock would have said, a cogent response. I've had the same brought to my attention, and I see it because I live in the town centre, going down the High Street, down towards the Grosvenor Park Estate, Rochester Avenue. I've had casework from there recently asking the very same questions that you're asking. And again, the response, we put this to traffic and we put this to our community safety team exactly along the lines that you described just then, because it's happening not just in Bedfont, but, along the high street in busy places, and for the reasons you suggest. And I think the only way you can actually deal with it is by common sense, a bit of education, maybe a bit of enforcement, and we have our enforcement teams out and about, and if cyclists are there, then please use the carriageway and the part of it that's provided, even if you are a little worried or scared. But there are even cycling lessons for adults, which the council are offering now. I've not been on a bike for years. I'd be terrified to get on a bike. But no, you're absolutely right. It's somewhere between good manners, common sense, and a little bit of education and giving people enforcement as well. I think we need to put it out there along the lines of what you said, and then, well, we probably need some enforcement, but I think it would get better as a result of that. Yeah, thoroughly agree with you.
Yes, just want to add up on bike. We council run, I think, in summer each month, like bike doctors, where if you bring your bike there, they do it free of cost. Like if you want to put the bell on, light on, they do it free of cost. And there is one more for young women, ladies. There's a bike where they teach how to bike in a safe way. I think it's yes, it's from Hounslow House. I don't know the exact dates and timing, but there is a groups which work with the council, and council help them.
I just think if you're going to sell cycling, which is
yes,
the thing for you to do, you should combine the fact with safety at the same time to encourage people to make sure that they.
I think in summer there are lots of things happening regarding that by the council, because now it's
But when I asked the council about that, they said that cycling, they went on about cycling paths being 3 metres and so on. But when I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about normal roads, small roads that people cycle along to get to the cycle track. That's the bit that's the concerning bit. So it's about education, it's also about enforcement. But it can be quite dangerous in the dark, and you don't know what's behind you because you can't hear. And some of these bikes they're like motorbikes now, they've got motors on them and things like that, and they're zooming along. And as you say, well, I said there was some phones stolen in Bedfont the other day, so people are always looking around now, and it's quite dangerous. Thank you.
Thank you very much there, Russell. And just on that point, I think some schools are doing the bikeability project as well. I know my kids were part of that, where school children go on this course which teaches them about road safety and how to cycle safely on the road, and how to make sure that they're visible and carry all the necessary precautions. So it's good that they're starting early, but I think you are right, there does need to be that awareness even before they go onto the cycle lane. I think you're absolutely right. I think Farzana?
Can I just, in response to what you're saying, Russell, about 2 weeks ago, the police did an event specifically on the subject that you're talking about discouraging the illegal e-scooters, etc., that are above, whatever the legal level is, and also did a whole initiative around education of people about risks of where to cycle and sensible cycling. They also did seize some bicycles. Now, that was on Hounslow Town Centre. It was an action day in partnership between the police, the cycling team in Hounslow, and Safe Communities. So I can just pass that information on, that similar concerns. I did see, I think there was 3 incidents of phone theft, wasn't there, in Bedfont, and it was people on bikes who'd grabbed them. So I think we'll just highlight that this is also hotspot areas. So hopefully maybe we can bring that initiative over. I'm not making any promises, but I just, there is some.
I mean, obviously what's happening is it's in London happening quite a lot, and I think they're getting caught in London now. So they're now coming out further to steal phones. I mean, this is a separate issue to what I was talking about. I'm talking about safety, but if you're talking about phones, which I've mentioned, it's more likely now that these people are going to come to our kind of areas to steal these phones, because you only walk around now, everyone's got a phone in their hand now, where at least in London, central London, people are more cautious now. They're carrying them in their pockets, where here we're a bit more loose with our mobiles, and that's why suddenly crime has picked up. So I think that'd be good also for the council to remind everybody of what's going on out there. Because, four phones were stolen in Bedfont last week or the week before, and that's quite a large number considering, where we are.
Sorry, the police right now is running a campaign with phones, so they've given this opportunity to have your phone, you can come and get them free. They started this week from Chiswick side, but every police has been allocated some kind of funding where they're going to run campaigns around schools and on high streets where anybody's mobile phones, they're going to mark them for free. So if they do get stolen, they can be identified.
Thank you very much. Jyoti, if we can see if we can give a written response as well with anything further, if officers can add something into there, please. Thank you. Any more questions from the audience? Yeah.
My name is Albert. I just wanted to know, thank you, I just wanted to know who's responsible for the street lighting in Hounslow, not the high street, I'm talking about the normal streets where people live.
Thank you very much. Do we have a response?
It's just that the street lighting is quite low.
Yes,
the security.
Hounslow Highway, is it? Yeah.
It's Hounslow Highways.
If it's private, that's separate, but if it's on our land, then it's highway.
Yeah, it's normal lighting. So when you're walking down your normal road, the lights are actually quite dark. So I cannot actually, when you try to put your key in your car, you can't actually see it.
Yes, I can answer that. Yes, there's 3 settings: very high, medium, low. So if you can let us know which road you are talking about, we'll have a look. Okay. Because something is to do with savings. So we can manage particular roads if you feel to do get in touch with us.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, if you're not comfortable saying it now, you can speak to the councillor at the end to give your road.
I've got Albert's details as well,
brilliant.
so I'll allocate it to the relevant councillor.
Thank you. Any further questions? No. Do members wish to contribute to the open forum? No? Okay. In that case, we're moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is the community spotlight. Now, this is the segment where local charities or organisations can tell us a bit about themselves and the wonderful work they do. So without further ado, or taking any of his thunder away from him, I'd like to introduce to you Hassan, who will tell you about his charity and the wonderful work that they do. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I would like to say thank you, Mr. Chairman and Vice Chairman. It's all the council. I would like to say thank you very much to give us today the opportunity to talking about. My name is Hassan Hussein, and also I'm working for the Hounslow almost 16 years to helping for the ELACE organizations, and also I used to do school governor for 4 years, and also I did a refugee council for 8 years, and that one is my did volunteers is a amazing job for the opportunity to help the refugee people and BME community. And ELACE is I would like to introduce a little bit ELACE. ELACE is a non-profit organization, and I would like to, because today we have a time is a limit, but I will give Mukhtar, he can explain to you more about this, my colleague, Mr. Mukhtar Usman, but also I can answer any question do you like it.
Hello. Well, basically, as you can see from that PowerPoint, we are a non-profit organization set up in 2004 by the East African community in West London. And this is more about us. So basically, in 2004, we saw many of our brothers and sisters who arrived from Somalia, and they were struggling to cope in the UK. So we know that the transition can be difficult for people, so we recognized that and we decided to think that we can step in here and we can help them. So our mission is to help BAME communities and new arrivals in West London reach their full potential. We think it's vital that they can overcome any barriers and to social inclusion and feel as equal as anyone that were born and raised in the UK. So we provide various different services, which you can see on the screen, such as youth clubs, employment, leisure, advice, guidance, mental health sessions, and health and well-being. We also have a walking group, which I can speak to you about now. Basically, it's people that suffer from mental health. We have a walking group which they can come, they can join us, they can take walks, they can help build up their confidence levels because they might be isolated, they might be feeling really low, feeling really down. So we can boost their motivation and give them a group which they can interact with different people so they're not feeling alone. We also are proud that we've been recognized recently. Just this week, we were awarded in the 2024 London Dagwall Awards for outstanding services to faith and belief in Greater London. We were also previously awarded by the One Hounslow community, and we were awarded the Reaching Potential Award in 2021. And as you can see, these are various partnerships that we work together with to help those migrants and those that are struggling, to help them and guide them and give them advice. So I'd like to say that that's our website, and we thank you for listening and watching this presentation.
Thank you very much for your presentation and for all the wonderful work that you do. If residents do know somebody who could benefit from the services, then Hassan and his colleague are there for you to ask any questions and get in touch with. Any questions from the audience for Hassan and his colleague? Yeah, Alex?
We are the base is Feltham, New Road, TW14, and also before we helping for the only Somali community and East African people, but now we helping all PME community, especially the refugee people, and also anyone who working as a volunteer. I would like to say welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for your presentation. Do you have any projects for the youth and the Somali youth living in the Feltham area?
Yes, we have. We usually help the young people for the how to find a job, CV writing, and also opportunities, chance to help the volunteer, and also we give the one-to-one support, and we helping for if they have any problem for these schools, and we have case workers for the young people, and also we're doing counseling if they have any problem for the back home or their mental health issue. Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Any more questions from the audience? No? In which case I'll move to members. I'll take Hina first and then Councillor Akram.
Wonderful project, Ilyas. What does it stand for, Ilyas?
The Ilyas is a light for the inner tunnel.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
If you can share the information, regular activities you are doing, so as councillors, I'm sure we can share it with the other community groups as well.
Yeah, also we have every Monday we have a Hounslow house, ground floor. We helping the people for 10 till 1 o'clock, and also we have a Feltham assembly, 2 o'clock till 5 o'clock. Elias is always there, and we help for anyone who need help. We Mukhtar and also other colleagues, they helping all the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Akram.
Thank you very much. It is very good presentation. I have a question regarding the working group. As you mentioned, you have a weekly working group. Which day most you do? And there is any age limit?
We usually do every month one time, and also we starting for child house hotel, and we starting up to our office, and after that we're doing workshop for coffee morning at the same time, and then we coming back to the hotel, especially when they're based in the refugee people there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Akram. Just a quick question from me. What would you say in your experience has been the biggest challenge for your organisation, and how we as local authority can support the wonderful work that you do?
First of all, we want to share in the value for the British, and also we're looking for the more partnership because every time we have, every year we apply funding, but we would like to, they stay, like like other organization, what they did that, but we need, stable for funding if they are available.
Okay, thank you, Hassan. I think your local ward councillors are the Bedfont ones, and they're more than happy to liaise with you should you need their assistance. Are there any further questions from members for Hassan? No? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hassan. Okay, now to the next part of the agenda, which is the action plan updates. Not nearly as interesting as the work Hassan does, but equally as important. So I'd like to hand over to our colleagues. We're going to be starting with members of the Bedfont ward, please.
Yes, there was issues regarding Bedfont High Street. There was a footpath. There's a problems there, which is owned by the shopkeepers. So we managed to get few fixed, and letters are sent to all the shopkeepers, businesses, and they're working on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Farmahan, an update?
Thank you, Chair. The issue in Bedfonts are still being considered for addition to the area form action plan. These includes issues on Bedfont High Street with payment parking and private ownership, continued concern around Bedfont pits, fly tipping and clarity of landowners and maintenance in South Bedfont East. Not all areas have been agreed for addition yet, but these issues are being discussed in detail internally. If residents wanted an interim updates on this, they can speak with their ward councillor for Bedfont. We continue to ask residents to raise issues for addition to the action plan for Bedfont, and you can do this via your councillor, community development officer, or via the Let's Talk Hounslow page, for which you can find a link and more information on the community development table. Paper copies can be provided. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Councillor Farmahan. I'm now going to hand over to my colleagues representing the Feltham North ward, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to update regarding the Baber Bridge, which is on the Staines Road near the petrol station. Since our last update in September, we have been completing process to allow for the designer to be appointed so that concept design can begin. We have received a response from the consultant and expect to have a contract in place in early 2025, with the design work begin in spring 2025. We have also been working with Green Space colleagues to ensure that our changing link into their ongoing improvement along the Canal Valley path and contribute to improve roads of cyclists and pedestrians along the river and on Staines Road. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any further updates from Feltham West? Sorry, for Feltham North? No? So moving on to now Feltham West ward, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm updating on the High Street engagement. 3 years ago, we had a very serious incident outside McDonald's in the summer of 2021, and at the time, myself and local councillor Hanif Khan, who represents the other side of, or did represent the other side of Feltham High Street, we decided to bring parties together, stakeholders, the town centre management, the council, the police, because it was getting very dangerous and worrying. So we set up the Feltham Safer Town Centre initiative. Now, 3 years on, we've had periods where during the school summer holidays or other times in the autumn when the kids get off the bus by Greg's outside the Moon on the Square, Wetherspoons, issues of thieving, pilfering, antisocial behaviour, you name it, it's happened. But we now have a lot of stakeholder engagement, a lot of different groups from the council, like engaging with the families of the young people through our estate officers if they're on the estates, the police, town centre management themselves, and others, and youth work groups. So it's a lot better and it's starting to work, but we've got to give these young people an opportunity, yeah? And of course the adults as well, because we still have that small minority of people who, especially if they have been drinking over at the weekend, it doesn't work. So the community safety team are preparing a day of action for Feltham High Street. This is going to aim to tackle squarely and head on the antisocial behaviour issues, rough sleepers, not just moving them on, but finding them some accommodation so they can rebuild their lives, drinking on the high street and around the pond, bird feeding. Everyone's aware of what's happening on Feltham Green. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it still goes on. Loitering, bikes, etc. We have regular police patrols. We negotiated, it's a bit like football when you loan a player from another club. We managed to get some resources from neighbouring forces and boroughs to help support us initially, but now we have regular police presence on the high street after 2 o'clock in the afternoons on Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays, and we've got newly installed public space protection order signs, PSPO, on the high street to tackle drinking. So these are the first stages of this major next step. The Safer Communities team and the CCTV team are working on a project to gather intelligence and photos of regular offenders, again, so they can be brought to book, but then helped in the next stages. And this will be shared with the Safer Neighbourhood team and our patrol officers. The Safer Communities patrol officers, and we're very grateful to them, are working with the security in the town centre management team, led by Sam Bond-Arnold, the Safer Neighbourhood Police team, First Port, the Housing Association A2 Dominion, and businesses. These are all the stakeholders in and around the town centre who are all buying into this. So we're working as one big collective. A business walk-around is being set up, isn't it, Chair, in January with the Safer Neighbourhood Police and all high street businesses. Again, people can join us. And meetings are to be held at the Feltham Centre on a quarterly basis, and they're very, very useful. Perfectly Imperfect were here earlier from the Feltham Community Development Association Belvedere House building, who do absolutely wonderful work. They run a youth club on Wednesdays. I think it's 5 till 8, and I think it's 2:30 till 6 on Friday. And they now extended the age range to include 15, 16-year-olds up to year 11 at school. They are running additional outreach on the high street, and having spoken to them earlier, they're working with the Violence Reduction Unit, a project. It's working, and they're having some good contact. And also, because they're open at 2:30 on a Friday when the kids will be getting ready to come out of school, maybe some already are or are not in school, they can pick up some of those problems and turn the young people from potential mischief to something that's a lot more creative and constructive, which is what we want. Safer Communities is also holding area-based meetings on a monthly basis, and any issues raised can be discussed. So it's very positive. We're very grateful, aren't we, to the work of the Safer Communities team, the police, and our wonderful community groups in Feltham. Positive people. So, yeah, let's all keep working together and keep lifting the place up. The town centre partnership ones take place in the hub. They're by invitation, but I think the Safer Communities area-based meetings on a monthly basis, have we established where that is?
The area-based meetings are online.
So the microphone arrives as the speech ends.
Thank you very much.
It's all about timing, folks. When I turned up earlier, I thought we double booked with a wedding party. Look.
Just repeat again.
Sorry, I'll just repeat that. So the area-based meetings are online. That's with our partners. So when we identify a problem, if say, for example, Anne was to come to us and in a Feltham Assembly Hall or any of the forums, we take that concern on, we take it back to area-based meeting, we discuss it with our partners, police, we try to find a tailor-made solution to that problem, and then we apply that. It's working fantastic. We've made a lot of changes. There's a lot that you've mentioned already. But any of your concerns, you come to the assembly halls. That's why we've got all these forums and assembly hubs, so that residents can engage with us and we can take it back to our ABMs, which is area-based meetings.
Yep.
Yeah, Mo, quick question. Based on what Russell was saying earlier, do you have any remit on your side with people cycling on pavements? Is that something you can do, or is it?
So we know the people that general public that's cycling on pavement, they shouldn't be doing anyway, but police is looking into tackling that issue. We just done an action day on Hounslow High Street, but with other bicycles like Uber bikes and other delivery bikes, we done a specialist action day in Hounslow again. We had a specialist trained police officers that are specifically trained to identify, because these bikes have been modified with the batteries. So where they should be less powered, they've become more powered, and those are the ones that are causing more problems because they're the ones that are zooming by. So police is tackling that, but they are going around the borough. So we will have a day of action on Feltham High Street. We will tackle all these issues: drinking, the pond issues, the loitering issue, the bike issue, all of that.
And can we, the assurance is we can work with our partners and our stakeholders on the wider issues of education?
Absolutely. So we are doing that. On the day that we realise the people that may be regular perpetrators, their 8 bikes were confiscated. But other people that we know that are maybe ignorant to the situation, we do educate them.
Definitely. Right, thank you very much. Residents are also encouraged to be in touch with their local councils if they wish to report any incidents, because then what happens is we can raise that on their behalf with the relevant officers and the relevant team, and then things can get done. Are there any more updates from members? No? Okay, we're nearly towards the end. Next item on the agenda is any other business or matters? No, I've not been informed of any. I would just like to take the opportunity... Oh, sorry, the gentleman.
I just wanted to find out from Alan, you said that there was a January meeting. In January there'll be meetings, you said?
January meeting of what? Oh, that's the businesses one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a walkabout, isn't it, Emily?
Yeah, is there a date for that?
Emily's going to come in on that.
So the business walkabouts are run by Community Safety. Yeah, let me pass to Abdul. 1 sec.
So we're in the process of engaging with all the businesses. Right now we've got, starting from McDonald's, we've got the gym across the road, we've got Asda on board, and we've got a few others. And the centre in itself, because they run a lot of the business around JD Sports, Sports Direct, all of it. So we have made a lot of improvement in terms of engaging with all of them. We're trying to bring the centre, the business around, and the high street, and Burberry's house, Azilia's house, all those blocks together. We will be having those meetings. Those meetings will be closed because they're on a data sharing protocol. So it will be need-to-know basis what we can, because a lot of the sensitive information with our rough sleepers and a lot of youth will be shared. Once they start in January, we're hoping that we're aiming to start in around mid-January. So at the moment, we're still getting all the partners on board, and there's a lot of data sharing, so there's a lot of paperwork that's happening right now, but I'm personally working on it, all of it, so I'm hoping by mid-January we have that. But once we have updates from those meetings, it'll be the forums that we will share any updates on that.
Thank you very much. Anything else? Okay, in that case, I would just like to put on record my thanks, firstly to residents who braved the cold to come and attend this meeting, and also to the officers, to our charity groups, to our caterers who made this event possible. So thank you very much. Emily, you wanted to say something?
Thank you so much, Chair. Just to say, for those of us that are still here, if you could leave us some feedback, whatever you're feeling, we'd love to hear from you. And also just to say, if you would like a sheet of your your councillor's contact details, they are on the front desk as you leave. So please do take this with you. If you're not sure who your councillor is, their beautiful pictures are here.
Thank you very much, Emily. You beat me to it.
Yeah, and if you put those pictures above the fireplace, then it will keep the children away from the fire. Thank you.
Right, before we head off, the date for the next area forum is the 3rd of March. So for those of us who will be celebrating Christmas, I know it's a little bit early, but we won't be meeting before then. So wishing you all a very happy Christmas and a happy New Year. Thank you. 3rd. We'll communicate that once it's been decided. It's not been decided yet. Or you can leave that in the form. You can give a feedback form. You can write that in there. Thank you.